No picture.
Yeah, usually we put up the
no
thing.
cover, nothing. Wow, raw dog that shit. I'm like, damn, I'm reading. Hi guys.
Everyone.
It's Pod in the City. It's the morning after, baby. And I just smoked a cigarette because this episode left me wet. It really didn't, but thoughts?
Ooh.
Did we? Okay, over and under. I think that's what you say, right? Better than last week, worse than last week.
These are two strong episodes. I was
Strong?
I thought this had more.
Strong? Or strong?
I mean, again,
just like that.
Compared to the shit that we've seen.
Thank you.
That has but a lot of stuff. I think a lot of storylines here could have been a whole season arc that then just got dropped. Like most specifically, Carrie and Miranda living together should have just been the entire season. I could die for that all season.
I thought the same thing. I was like, are you kidding me? We're going to already wrap this up? Oh, you've already...
It was funny. And they have really good chemistry together. As I was really watching that, I'm like, I feel like the women don't interact with each other that much.
That was what I was thinking. Okay, so hi guys, it's Pod. Let me continue my thought here onto. It's Pod in the City. Every Friday at 2 p.m. EST, we are doing a first reaction of the most recent episode of And Just Like That. Because then the next week we drop a full recap for y'all ass. Also, if you'd like to check out our Patreon, it's patreon.com/podinthecity. That's a great place to listen to extra shit. You also get early releases and new other episodes and special things and special lives and all kinds of crap. Vanderpump Rules is what's coming next week. So if you like VPR, come on, we love it. And we go in. I want to say hi to some of our friends who are here always. Julie. Hey, Colette. Hey, Diana. Hey, Heather. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Gabrielle. And hey, Rebecca. Baby, did you guys... Okay, so we already see that Gabrielle hated the episode.
I think I hate all of them.
Did everyone else like this? Hey, Kate. Hey, Jordan.
Oh, look, everyone's here. Oh, one of the dogs just...
Hey, Holly. Ooh, it's popping off. Buddy.
Oh my god. Okay, look. We need to talk about this because me and Joan we had a real big argument about Wyatt last week. Most people took my side. We have another hot take by Joan here, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. No,
I don't think it's a hot take.
I think yours is a hot take, but
I think yours is a hot take.
I don't think so. If Carrie if Carrie or Duncan posted an "Am I the asshole?" on Reddit, who would most people side with? I think that it's Duncan, hands down. And Joan thinks Carrie's completely fine.
Amanda thinks that Carrie's the big asshole in the situation. And I actually was kind of thinking, I understood when Carrie was like, hey, it's New York. There's noise.
She doesn't have runners and she won't. Here's the solution. Don't wear your high heels in the house. No one does that.
I completely agree, but I still thought he was annoying as well.
But he was as nice as he could be.
Oh, baby, they're going to pound.
Yeah,
they're going to
be the best sex Carrie ever has.
Oh, I can't wait. That is what I'm excited about for him.
No, Aiden's next week, and he breaks a window in her apartment or in her.
Meredith says, like, what has happened to Miranda? She's disgusting at this point. I agree. You know, with that Carrie and Miranda storyline living together, I'm like, oh, what? Carrie, she drank your Mexican Coke? Holy crap. Oh my God.
I think Miranda was an asshole. I think Carrie's in the right there. You don't come to my house and eat my shit.
I actually completely agree, but you're also like uber rich and you're like 60 or 50. So you have money, you have resources. Who gives a shit? Your friend's been staying there for 2 days.
House and take something out of like I would never. Do you know how many times I would ask? I would need like a written statement saying that.
I think that is fine, but it goes both ways. I think Carrie could just be like, "Who gives a shit?" That would be what I would say.
Wow. I mean, I guess that's true. If I was hosting Miranda, I would probably say, but I would probably go out and buy a bunch of shit.
That's what I mean. Like, oh, you have one soda and one yogurt.
Okay, wow, everyone's speaking her. But what do you guys think about the Carrie Duncan thing? Now, I lived in New York for a while, and I have had these interactions with so many people that lived. It's usually my fault because I walk really heavy. But and
Gabrielle, I will say, pause.
It is called a Mexican Coke.
I live in Arizona. Everyone here would call it a Mexican Coke because it's specifically from Mexico because it has pure sugar in it, as opposed to high fructose corn syrup, like we have in the U.S. So they do call it Mexican Coke. I will say.
They call it that on the Doughboys too.
I think.
Okay, so you need to have runners. Like, this is just such a thing. If you live in an apartment complex, it is, you are the, if you are asked, I sleep during the day. So do you mind if you just don't wear heels in your house when no one else is around? And you have the audacity to say no, that is, and then not buy runners. Oh, I haven't had a chance to get runners yet. You're rich.
I agree on that. But I also think it's somewhat egregious to expect your neighbor to be nearly silent when you need to sleep all day so you can write all night. Okay, so your problems are my problems too, baby. Like, you live in New York City. Even when they're standing outside, it's like,
True.
We're going to get to the glamping because...
Yeah. Berlin apartment noise complaints are no joke. Yeah, I mean, that really, like, you will get into fights with your neighbors, and none of them are as nice as Duncan. Duncan, the only thing unbelievable about this is how nice Duncan was to her about it.
You know what I want to say? There are so many people in our chat. It's popping off unlike any other way it does in any of our other lives. Could you guys, if you're in our chat right now, hit the bell icon and then come to our Wednesday live?
Yeah,
at the exact same time. We talk about all kinds of pop culture shit. This week we always talk about Drag Race. We talk about
Broadway
movies, shit like that. Because there's so many people here. I agree. Okay, so I am already like overwhelmed.
Can I say a point here? Well, also, guys, I listened to the Writers Room podcast, and they were congratulating themselves on some shit here. And I took a clip to play for you guys. But I want to talk about this point in here where I was like, if anyone in the writers' room would have been like, oh, this would be a funny way to end this joke, I would have respected the show. But then they missed it. Okay, here's the joke.
Okay.
Where first of all, it's where Harry tells Charlotte, spoiler, that he has cancer. And
heavy spoiler, guys.
It is a pretty, although they were slapping us across the face with it before.
I mean, also, if you're here, you do have to expect we're going to talk about the episode, right? Do the writers want us to hate watch this show? I mean, I don't know if they were being self-referential when they were having that whole episode of.
They were, but they were doing it in like a bitchy way. Okay, here's the joke. Okay,
go ahead.
He goes, Nelson Mandela gets brought up here. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, she's like, Nelson Mandela had prostate cancer. And Charlotte goes, he died. And Harry goes, but he was 95. And then they dump the joke. And why would they not have Charlotte go, I thought he died in prison in the 80s. Do you not get that? Have you heard of the Mandela effect? Because that's literally what the Mandela effect is like about. It's that everyone universally thinks that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s, and it's a Mandela effect, and he didn't.
Wait, they did that joke, or
they didn't do the joke? They didn't finish the joke. He said Nelson Mandela had cancer, and he says, but he died when he was 95, and then they dump it. They didn't finish the joke. People get it. I mean, I know you're not.
You should be jumping in as a guest because I'm like, I didn't mind the joke that was there. It
wasn't a joke. That wasn't a joke. If you're gonna bring up Nelson Mandela, it's a Chekhov's gun. They bring up Nelson Mandela and then don't mention the Mandela effect.
I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you.
Yeah,
I knew the Mandela effect, but only because of the Berenstein Bears.
Well, yeah, that's why everyone knows the Mandela effect.
I never even knew what it was in. I knew it was in reference to Nelson Mandela. Actually, I didn't. I thought it had to do with those like symbols that they call Mandela.
It's like when you didn't know what penultimate meant. And I had to teach you right there on the spot.
I think I am intelligent. But there are some things where I guess you just don't have the full. So, yeah.
Merida says, and then us thinking she did say the joke in the show years later will also be a Mandela effect. Yeah. See, I was hoping you'd know what the Mandela effect was, so you could think it was as egregious as me. But Colette has been teasing a John Corbett story since our live on Wednesday. So please let us know.
Write it in there and we'll pop it up.
Yeah, we'll pop it. Pop it.
Okay, so the comments are coming fast and furious. So let's see. How does Charlotte have any friends? Carrie have any friends? Agreed. She's annoying. I didn't see the episode when you started talking. I knew right where this was going.
The Mandela thing.
Yeah, the Mandela thing. I got it.
All right. I think that Carrie was an asshole about the shoes, and I think that Carrie was completely in the right for. If someone came into my house and took something out of my fridge without asking and ate it, I would be fucking pissed. I would hate them forever. I would always remember that.
Oh, see, I'm a very gracious host that if you came to my house, I would say anything is yours. Just don't go in certain drawers because I don't need you to find certain things.
Sure.
Even if you did, I would be like, whatever.
I thought Miranda being naked was hilarious and her body looked really good. Honestly, if I looked like that in my 60s, I would probably be fine. I'd be yeah, let's toss this on the telly.
I definitely don't think it made much sense. I'm surprised that she was so nonchalant about it. Carrie, weird. You know your friend Carrie Bradshaw.
Oh, the sex columnist Carrie Bradshaw.
Carrie is she's a widow now. That's I think what it is. She's a widow now, y'all. I mean, no judgment to widows, but
I think that the naked thing was actually kind of nice, girlhood wise, because you would but I think that Miranda would have been oh, sorry, she just is laying it. I think any person would jump to cover themselves up really quickly.
Andy, agreed. If I'm staying at a friend's house, I'm not walking around naked.
We know you love to walk around naked, but it would be
when I'm at my house. When I'm at my own house, I will be naked for as much as I want. I sleep in the nude. Please don't come peeping Tom me unless you're hot. And so yeah, but if I'm staying anywhere, I wear underwear to bed.
Wow.
Because I think it's I don't want to be sleeping fully naked in someone's home I don't know.
Okay, everyone's arguing about the host thing. Okay, I get it. If somebody came into my house, I probably would buy a bunch of shit and be help yourself to everything. But anything that I didn't want them to have, I would probably just put in my mini fridge or something. But they're living together. They're technically roommates here. So if you're in a roommate situation and someone but I guess she's hosting her. So okay, fine.
I just think if you're rich, my ultimate goal in life would be to be rich enough where I could go out with my friends and pay for their dinners always. I could have a loaded stocked fridge and people could come to. I would just love to. I want to be a philanthropist in my life.
Joan.
What
did you think of the penis?
Oh God. The guy Miranda's story is that her neighbor is so loud with his music, which it is egregious. She keeps leaving notes. He finally opens the door and he's naked, a creeper with a knife in his hand. Scary. Okay, though I do want to talk. He was creepy. I didn't even look at the penis because I was just ew.
Oh, and I saw twice and I looked right at it.
Speaking of our live, I watched 28 years later, so I'm used. I have seen lots of big swanging dong in this week.
This one wasn't big swinging, but it was nice.
One thing I do want to talk about, because we've been leading up to it throughout the season, and when we kept seeing a clip of Carrie and hot neighbor down below, British dude, Duncan. But we were hypothesizing, are they going to fuck? Is that a new boyfriend for Carrie? I was so convinced that Carrie and Aiden were breaking up. And then guess what, guys? He bought her a table and all is right in the world.
Yeah, it's a lot going on here.
So no, Amanda and I were talking before about Duncan and we were so what is the logistics here? I personally couldn't believe that Carrie, in her $500 million or whatever they say she allegedly has in her net worth, that she has a weird shitty apartment underneath hers with one curmudgeonly troll under the freaking bridge type neighbor. I'm this doesn't add up. But I do think he must own because SEMA says he lives there half of the year.
Right. And I'm actually impressed with the writers that they addressed it by having SEMA say, "Oh, I told you about that when you bought the house, Carrie." Like I'm impressed that it was addressed. The apartment was really shitty. In fact, on the Writers Room podcast, one of the Out of Touch writers said, "We thought it would be so funny if we had Carrie standing in just the grossest apartment she could even dream of, being handed this package from Amazon. Wow, what a wild experience for Carrie." I'm like, this apartment is a garden apartment in like Tribeca. I'm sure it's like $4,000 a month. So
I just was like, oh, she owns this entire building. And then this thing underneath is like, if you look at it, it looks like
it's a garden apartment. All of those brownstones have like a little like shitty like thing like that.
I know, but like it looks like I don't know, a relic of the past in a way where like it looks like no one ever lives there, let alone 6 months out of the year.
I guess what everyone's arguing about here, and that we never really did find out for sure, is if he rents or owns. But honestly, she should just take her fucking shoes off and throw some runners down. I thought the recurring bit that I know they'll never mention, this should be a bit through the whole next season of Carrie being like,
I think it's gonna be canceled, but okay.
I don't think so at all, because everyone's talking about it. When the constant bits of Carrie being like, "Make sure you walk in the runner, take your shoes," like that was funny. Sarah Jessica Parker was very funny in this episode, I thought, and the Sarah Jessica Parker or the Carrie Miranda stuff was so good. Like I really just could have watched the two of them argue back and forth, and then kind of talking about old times. Like you never used to eat bananas. Your breakfast used to be coffee and a cigarette. And Carrie's like, "Oh, that does sound good." And there was a really good back and forth here that I want to put into my own like brain for if I ever get in a fight like this with someone. When Miranda's like, "I think we're both thinking the same thing," and Carrie goes, "Well, I don't know what you're thinking, but I think you should stay forever." I thought it was just a really cute little banter there. The way they handled their fight was very like positive. Girlhood.
Definitely, though, still, like you said, would have rather had that drawn out because
for the whole season, please.
It's a weird thing here. Someone commented on somewhere. We have so many things going on that it's somewhere, y'all. That one thing they miss about Sex and the City was that they'd have storylines that would wrap up in one episode, which kind of made it more, easy to pop in and out. So that's what the weird thing is here. They like to stretch certain things that we don't want to watch out an entire season or 3. And then they'll resolve like SEMA and Ravi breaking up in
that was so
5 minutes,
Lady Jane says it's weird because Carrie having the garden redone, wouldn't she have to ask a garden apartment? I know that is, New York is weird, like with owning different things and condos, all of that shit. But it is weird, and you're a realtor, and even you think it's weird.
I think it was strange because if I lived there and I was in the garden like Carrie, wistfully writing her terrible, boring book about the woman staring across the garden, would you not see that there's a set of windows there and a door that leads to something? And you would just sit there like, this doesn't exist. That's where I'm not piecing together is if I sat there looking at a thing in my garden with the door and windows, I would think that's haunted. I think it had squatters in it. I would have checked that out way before that moment. And so him rolling in, they do have him come in like the most British looking person ever. He rolls up in the first second, like in this like hat, and he's like all in brown. When they end up going out to dinner together later, he's eating like shepherd's pie. I'm like,
I thought he was a really good foil for Carrie. Because Carrie's being a bitch to him, a sarcastic bitch the whole time. And he is fully just gray rocking her. She's talking to him and he's just like lighting his pipe. I'm like, yes, good. How you deal with narcissists, Joan?
It is. I think that Carrie and this guy are gonna fuck because I cried this episode when Harry did say he had cancer. I did think it. I was
even though you knew it was coming. spoiled, not in a bad way, but someone put that on our notes last week and was like, oh, I'm thinking because of the prostate or because of the pissing his pants stuff. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right.
It makes sense now, but if that person had not commented that, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have known. And when they dropped it in the episode, I would have been like, oh my God.
Well,
it's I think it's because I don't think about the show much past when we record
100%. It leaves your head. But okay, so here's where I'm gonna pop in this this audio that I pulled. This is Michael Patrick King thinking that we, the audience, are so stupid. Okay, like this is because I was like, what a great storyline that they had those little things peppered in about Harry like not being able to get it up and stuff. But here's Michael Patrick King thinking that he needs to fucking spoon feed this, and I can just see the smug fucking look in his face while he's saying this. So here we go.
But you know.
And now here's a little of our trickery as writers. We set this up in the 2 episodes before it. In the very first episode where we set up that he had a problem was that he peed himself.
That was episode 3.
And episode 3. And we surrounded that with a lot of comedy. We hid it by having it be a denim button jean thing, and he mistimed his drinks. But the reality was the only reason he peed himself was because we were doing a symptom. We didn't want to just suddenly be like, guess what? That he had prostate cancer. That is a symptom. And in the next episode that we featured Harry in, he was unable to have an erection.
Wait, a 70-year-old man can't get an erection, so he obviously has prostate cancer? Wait, what?
On top of that, though, Harry says it to Charlotte in the episode. He's like, remember how I pissed myself and then I couldn't get it up? We know it would have been so much better if you just hadn't explained all that. We can put 2 and 2 together.
And maybe I'm dumb. I guess I am dumb. Dumber than I thought, because I would never have put it. To me, is logical. To me, I have pee anxiety. If I was shoved in something in New York, if you've never been to New York, y'all, there aren't public restrooms everywhere. I guess he thought he was being Ronky. Is that how you say it? MPK is effing creepy. He is up his own ass in a way that is... Okay, Judith, I'm an idiot because Judith says we all knew the prostate cancer was coming. I had no idea.
I don't even know if she means this, but even if somebody hadn't said that in our comments a few days ago, the way that they had Charlotte say 2 lines back to back, like, Carrie, I could never do what you're doing because I need to know everything that's happening. And I also couldn't imagine not waking up next to Harry every day. I'm like, oh my God, like you are just like slapping us with this.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see it now when I'm like analyzing.
I think I would have caught on.
Lisa, what's up with Lisa? Does she have dementia, or is she lovesick with Marion? Baby, yeah, I think she is love dick with Marion, as I would be. That man is so damn fine.
And here, that storyline has not been stretched out of the development of them talking. It's just, boom, they're on a plane. He's looking slutty with his hard-ass nipples. And then immediately she's like, I have a crush on Marion, Charlotte. Don't tell
Speaking of hard-ass nipples, you've seen the Hercules Broadway.
Yeah, I sent that to you. He's wearing a mesh shirt like you have. Your nipples aren't that hard, though, when you record them.
I watched the clip. I mean, trust me, my body does not look like this man who is cut as fuck. The clip of him singing, his nipple is poking through the hole of the mesh. That's awful.
That's amazing. Wait, someone just said something good here. This. Oh, yeah, we wanted to. This is on our notes to mention here. The shoe scene, the Devil Wears Prada thing in the beginning here with boots.
I loved this.
I loved it too. Loved it.
You know what I saw is on Instagram there is a thing called and just like that costumes thing.
Yeah.
And it said things for episode 5 or looks for episode 5, and they were showing a ton of shoes. And one thing said shoe montage for episode 5. I wish that Carrie wore some of those outfits that she had in that shoe montage, because she had like one of them had fishnet stockings with like a stripe up them and a really cool looking skirt. Another one had this like fringy metal jacket that you could see the bottom of.
It was cool. It was very old.
Really
It was very
cool.
like Sex and the City movie. It was very reminiscent of that. Here's another point. Do you think the doctors that did her hip surgery would have been like, you should wear heels all day long? If she was like, I plan to wear heels in my house, they'd be like, no, we actually just gave you like major surgery on your hip. So you can wear slippers in your house though. Like everyone else on earth.
Excuse me? The shoes are staying on, okay? You're never going to get Carrie out of those heels, okay?
She has a funny look. See, again, Sarah Jessica Parker makes her hateable, but not to the point where you hate Sarah Jessica Parker, because she was very, very funny reading these lines in this episode.
I actually thought she was pretty good in this, even though Amanda thought she was the biggest bitch in the world. I didn't think
crazy. If someone asked you to take off your shoes, please, like you're such an asshole if you just know that you're ruining this person's life and now I'm just going to do it out of spite. You don't need to wear heels in your house.
Oh, I agree. Trust me, I agree. I wear house shoes, but I did like the scene where Duncan gives her the like slippers and she's like, I'm allergic. And he says, to what? And she's like, whatever that is.
I mean that is true. Anything from Amazon. Man, I have this shirt that I bought from Amazon. This tie-dye shirt. And I always talk to Jody about it. I'm like, the inside feels like lotion. It's like just the material just doesn't feel like a solid. It's like, I don't know what this is. It's like a weird material but it's like lotiony.
I think it is disturbing that all of our materials are basically, we all just are wearing plastic. Like that's
it's all synthetic.
And we have microplastics in our system. Guys, it's important that climate change is real, et cetera, et cetera. Carla, we need some sex back into the show. Now, I would question, because it says, I just can't see the Aiden, Carrie, Harry, Charlotte, Miranda partner intimate scenes as sexy. The other options they've given us are Brady having sex repeatedly and Miranda getting fingered. Well, oh yeah, that's Miranda and partner. Or what was the other one? Oh, Anthony taking it up the butt by Giuseppe.
Anthony was funny in this scene. He's just drinking wine with Charlotte in her kitchen at 2 p.m.
He was, but he had 2 lines, and that was his only appearance the whole
episode. They were
episode.
Great, though. I loved it, where she's like, can you believe this is parenting now? And he goes, no, Char, I can't. And then Rock's like, oh, I miss cheese so much. And he's like, then eat some, which is my opinion on anyone on a diet. Like, just
because Rock does do like, oh, I forgot I'm vegan.
I'm liking Rock this season. They veered away from trying to teach us about what it means to be non-binary, because we got it. And now Rock is actually a person that I don't mind.
I for as much as I despised Rock, I don't mind Rock now at all. I in fact wish Che Diaz was back to give Rock like some mentoring on the non-binary.
You don't want to be like Che Diaz. I saw a TikTok this morning that was set to like horror music, and it was just Che doing the act.
I saw that.
I'm
sorry, guys. In the comments right now, just write yes or no. Do you want do you wish Che Diaz was back or still
not
here?
Not even as a main character, but if Che like appeared without us knowing, would that be good? Oh, speaking of people that are written out of the show, John didn't even notice. Maybe let's take a 15-minute break before we go straight into recording.
Katie says yes. Bring back Che.
Yeah. John missed the whole scene where Carrie was texting with Samantha, which I was like, this is
nice. Call me out.
I could have watched that because it was Miranda in her room looking fabulous and all orange. This is right before Carrie gave her that scarf. And she was texting back and forth with Samantha. And I'm like, I could have watched a whole episode of this because the banter was really, really funny.
Well, to be honest, though, as a person who wishes that Samantha was back, like, it would be way better if Samantha was on the show. This almost makes me sad that she's not on it, because her line alone of like, oh, well, I'd be on. What's the line? What are the lines, Amanda? You're on mute. We're getting
I keep wanting to call him. I keep wanting to call him Duncan Hines in my notes, but Carrie's like, have you heard of this Duncan guy? And Samantha's like, yes, he's a fun. That's why Carrie says, I thought you were supposed to be fun in Britain. And she's like, he's apparently a ball. And Carrie's like, well, he lives under me. And Samantha goes, oh, honey, I wish he was on top of me. This is all over text, of course. But it was like, and then Carrie goes, hey, Miranda, Samantha says that Duncan's really fun. So you missed all that.
I think it was because I was like listening, watching. Lady Jane says, how did SEMA get turned down for a loan? I will say, only from experience of I do real estate. So
yeah,
if anyone lives in Arizona and wants to buy or sell real estate, call me, message me. I'm more professional in that setting. So
you don't talk about
no, I'm not like, oh, big dong. So you can get turned down for a loan if you don't have guaranteed income. Like,
you think that SEMA would, even if you brought the past 20 tax returns, I think they'd approve her for a small business loan.
I agree, but I could also see some specific banks being like, well, you don't know, like you have no guarantee that you're going to get paid anytime soon. So
okay, I'm going to drop some hot tea that I did learn in the writer's room. And I was like, that's cool. They could have projected this a little better, and I will give them credit because they didn't slap us in the face with this joke. But the woman that was interviewing SEMA at the bank was the same woman that told Carrie when she was trying to buy her apartment that Carrie was an undesirable candidate. That was the same woman.
Oh.
So then later, when SEMA's
I thought that woman looked familiar.
There's no way that you thought she looked familiar from that.
Not from that. I just thought she looked familiar in general. I think I've seen her in something else. If you told me that, I would have had no idea this woman had anything.
But they do kind of do a callback to it because SEMA and Carrie are walking into Carrie's house and SEMA's like, I can't believe I got turned down for the loan. And Carrie goes, oh, I know, no, loans are a nightmare. Some woman back in my day told me I was an undesirable candidate. And then they left the joke there for us to figure out. What a concept.
Yeah.
Yes, from Ring a Ding Ding, Gabrielle says. Ring a Ding Ding, honey. That's a fun thing that they like got her back.
I agree, but if you're gonna bang us over the head with the other stuff, maybe bang us over the head a little bit more with that, just a touch more.
I believe they missed that.
You have some people in here who are like, oh, I had no idea, I missed that. Oops.
I would have missed it too. I mean, that is something I got out of the Writers' Room podcast. It's such a bad podcast.
Let's leave it with. Guys, I'm going to go glamping in a $10 million tent on Governor's Island that I'm sure would cost me $15,000 for the weekend. I'm going to go glamping, but oh no, God, that's too shitty for me. Must run off to the spa.
Okay,
I'm angry.
I thought Charlotte was funny about the cancer thing. Like she was Kristen Davis was funny with her like freaking out. I would have instilled a rule that the kids aren't allowed to have their cell phones because do you know how much that would grate on my nerves to see my fucking ungrateful, rich ass, privileged kid sitting there rolling her eyes at me while she scrolls on her phone.
I will say though, this, as Andy says, what the fuck was the glamping? They're like on a pier. Agreed. I'm not sure that this was glamping at all. It's like tense.
They're in Manhattan.
It's just like you're looking at a skyline and the nasty river. It's like cool.
Yeah. I mean, this is the way I would glamp.
Actually, I did semi-glamp one time in California. I stayed in a geodesic dome that was clear, and it was so cool. Anyway, so I did like though the scene. I'm gonna leave it with a positive.
Okay.
I liked the scene with LTW and Charlotte in the pool.
Yeah.
And I liked that it showed that element of a true friendship where you would say, you know, Charlotte's obviously upset and LTW is like, do you want to talk about it? And Charlotte says no. And LTW says, okay. And then just touches her on the arm, that's a beautiful, nice moment. Because that is what friendship should be. There's sometimes with people that you
good girlhood moments.
Yeah, I say bring more of that, you know, and I don't
have
know.
the girls interact with each other more. It's like I really did have the thought: do we not see Carrie and Miranda interacting for long anymore? Like, why is this like making me so happy? Carrie should fuck this guy.
Thanks for jumping in and saying Carrie should fuck this Scottish guy and leave Aiden. Agreed.
I mean, she better. Well, no, on the writer's room, they are going to fuck.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, because MPK will give these little nuggets to us where he'll be like, if you notice, we made sure that his line was really sexy. Like he's really like hamming it up. I'm like, okay, well.
As though we couldn't tell. Go from like, this is the tale as old as time. This is usually how my relationships start. We hate each other. We argue with each other. And then it gets to this boiling point where you kiss the first time and then it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. Once the sexual tension is over, you're like, well, bye.
Please get rid of Aiden. Please fix this show. But
do you think that George Washington had a right to be upset? Because I do. I think she's already being inappropriate. I think she was inappropriate for hiring this guy.
I do, especially because 30 seconds later, she tells Charlotte that she has a crush on the guy.
And then we didn't see that develop. Oh, here's one last egregious thing that I'm going to leave it on. They said at the beginning of the episode, Carrie says to the women at the restaurant, she goes, this is an important thing, guys. It's a woman's right to choose. And my first thought was, I wonder if the writers realized that they not only made that joke, but it is an episode title.
They didn't say it in the writer's room?
I don't remember.
They mentioned it in the writer's room.
They would have. No, I don't think they did. And that means that they literally think that that's the first time they've made that joke, which is so irritating to me.
Then I'm going to add another. Let's just keep adding.
Please, yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to bitch. We're not here to be positive.
Yeah. Carrie is talking to, like, she's like, oh my God, this guy moved in below me, or this guy's below me when they're at brunch. Yeah. And Miranda's like, oh my God, yeah, my Airbnb neighbor plays heavy metal all night long, blah, 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 blah. I've left him multiple notes or whatever. And Carrie's like, yeah, but what does that have to do with me?
But do you think that the writers wrote that on purpose, or they think that Carrie's in the right for all of this? Because they say we wanted to make sure to make Duncan as much of an asshole as possible so that we were all on Carrie's side. And I was like, what? You made him as nice as can be, and I didn't think anyone would be on Carrie's side, but people are. People are asking for Naya back. I don't. This is how bad the show is that we're asking for Naya back.
To be honest, Naya's storyline at least was about sex, but I did hate. My biggest gripe about Naya constantly was that she would use her ex-husband's full name, Andre Rashad. She would literally be like, oh, well, they're like, oh, where's your husband? She'd be like, oh, Andre Rashad. He's Andre Rashad. What?
But then they never even mention her. Okay, here's my last thought, actually. I wonder, I would be so impressed if they did this. Because you know this press tour that they're doing where all the women are talking shit about Samantha? They'll be asked a question. They'll be asked, like, they'll get a volley of like, do you think that maybe Miranda could talk to Samantha about being a lesbian? And Cynthia's like, no, I don't think they would. What if they ended the season with another Kim Cattrall appearance and they actually managed to keep this from us?
I don't think that's going to happen because they are acting not very
so bad at this.
Great.
So bad at this.
Every interview I've seen where they're like, I mean, even when they ask Anthony or what's his name in real life? Mario Cantone, when he was on Watch What Happens Live, they're like, oh, is Samantha going to come back? And he's like, no.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they're like all like, this is it. Because they were pissed last season when that got leaked. Ooh, here's another point. Why would Steve not be brought into this cancer storyline? Why wasn't Charlotte's first thought, maybe you should contact Steve? You're a 20-year friend and like close family friend. Our kids have fucked his kids.
They don't want to pay Steve this season because we have not seen him. Bring back Steve. I am sorry. I know we have Steve haters in the audience, but I love Steve. Sorry. Oh, I do want to ask a question here just for my own purposes. The person who commented, his voice is weird.
on our last video.
Were you talking about me or were you talking about Aiden?
I think they were talking about Aiden.
See, I think they were talking about me, which is fine. It's not like I've never heard it before.
It seems fine.
It's not like I've never heard it before. But you've also never spent enough time around gay people, because literally Amanda was like, your voice just sounds like any other gay guy.
It does. It just sounds like a gay man's voice. So like, that's a weird comment to leave. You've never heard a gay person talk before?
You know what? I would love you guys to leave as many shitty comments as you want. Boost the algo, bring in the viewers, because I mean, this is the most people we've had in a live ever.
This is what we've been working uphill, Joan. I said this would happen.
We've been edging an entire year. One thing I do want to know, guys, is we're going to do this every Friday. Thanks, Judith. We're going to do this every Kirkland's signature
Great. That's trendy. Costco's trendy as fuck right now.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, if you guys are here right now,
and leave a comment, guys.
If you're here right now, what I want you to do, there's a few things. Can you hit like right now, please? Kate loves gay voices. Me too, babe. Can you hit like right now? Can you also stay a second after we go off from live and leave a comment? Engage down there. Here's what happens. Wicked Witch of the West, babe, we're literally about to go off. But
yeah, but you can stick around and leave comments afterward.
rewatch our whole previous thing, leave comments, do all that shit. What's going to happen is we are right after this recording our full recap, start to finish every beat and moment of this show, except the ones that I forget, obviously. But good thing this woman, Katie, AJLT Aiden is weird as fuck, and so is his voice. You guys don't like this voice?
Yeah, I'm gonna lick my hand and masturbate.
You guys, what was I trying to say? Anyway,
guys, in the comments right now, write to us. What do you want us? Give us, because usually we have a couple days to kind of read the comments and know what to touch on. But right now, leave us be like, make sure you talk about this. Make sure you address this. Here's another funny joke that they missed about Nelson Mandela.
Yes. Please do that. Also, check out our Wednesday live, because it's very similar to this, but we just talk about a bunch of pop culture shit, and it's similar people in the chat. It's really fun. This week we have a running hate of Katy Perry, former astronaut Katy Perry. Julie, babe, thanks for the super sticker.
Yay!
Check out the Wednesday live. Leave a little comment.
Colette, I didn't see your comment. What was the Aiden thing? I missed it. Shit. We're going to have to scroll. You know what? I'm going to scroll through and then we're going to talk about it in the main episode.
Colette, typically we have about 18 people in our lives. So this is like 3 times that many. We are we're a mess. I mean, Amanda's used to
a mess.
Forever life. I'm a mess. Amanda's used to more people in her stuff. Anyway, check out Wednesday. Also, we'll have the full recap of this episode up on YouTube on Tuesday. But if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can, and you get early ad-free access. In fact, I already made the cover. I'm not sure if it's, here it is. You get early ad-free access to this full recap. If you join our Patreon, it's patreon.com/pod&the-city. Over there, also this week, we did a recap of Vanderpump Rules, babe.
Okay, actually, I'm going to read this comment because I found it. I know I know from a very reliable source that many years ago, a friend of a friend had met John Corbett at a bar and then went back to the hotel with him and had an experience like no other. Was he married? Probably, because men cheat. That was me that said that. He was juvenile, gross, laughable, crude, and cringe. Maybe the writers are like, let's just let John be John instead of Aiden. Ew, so that's what he's like in real life. That's so upsetting. Ew.
I hypothesized last week that he was improving.
Let me just put my own.
I swear, I was like, MPK is just like, just let him go. He's hilarious. Just let him go.
Ew, that's so. Both of Carrie's men are pieces of trash in real life, because, as I've said many times, I have several friends that work at a bar named Joe Allen on Restaurant Row, and whenever you ask them who's the worst celebrity you've ever dealt with, 100% of these people were like, Chris knows, worst. hugest asshole. He'd grab their asses, just like it was just like you'd walk by the table, he'd grab your ass. It was funny. So apparently John Corbett is in there too.
I want to know the real thing. Like Colette, yes, that's very important. Now I'm going to need you to message the person again. What's the dick like?
That's really what we need.
I mean, is it
normal? I think that Duncan's dick is going to be average, but he definitely knows what to do with it because he looks like he can swing those hips.
Colette says he would pick his butt.
Well, I pick my butt.
That was lousy. Why would you not want to help your friend? Oh, wait, that was separate. Julie says, I really think we're seeing more of the actors this season than the characters. I kind of agree. And there's a lot of shit coming in here. So what I'm going to ask you again, beg you, stay after. Wait, who's married?
John Corbett is married to Bo Derek.
Bo Derek?
Do you know that Bo Derek is only like 34 in Tommy Boy?
My Siri just picked up for
We're all over the place.
They're married?
He's been, Meredith says he's been with Bo for like 85 years. Oh, weird. He cheated? Oh, no. Doesn't sound like a guy in theater. Don't let your girls date men in theater. Then we'll leave with that, guys. We'll see you next week.
Or musicians. We love you guys so much. Here's the thing. Again, call to arms. If you haven't, hit like. Leave a comment after the fact, and then make sure that you hit the bell icon and you're subscribed so that you're ready for all of our other lives, because we have our weekly roundup on Wednesday. The Weekly Roundup. Look for that title, The Weekly Roundup.
And the episode we're about to record will drop on Tuesday at noon, the same time as this. All right, guys, we'll see you then, and we can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Please bring all your friends because this was super fun. Love you all.
We did find out that the season's going to be 12 episodes. So
12 episodes, not 10.
We got 7 more weeks with y'all. Can't wait.
All right, bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.
That's a thing, right? Yeah, there you go. Bye.